Hey there, friends, come join the show. We're digging in the earth where good things grow. From tiny seeds to the food we share, love and sunshine fill the air. Plant what you eat what you grow. Learn as you grow, let the rhythm flow. Grow every day, in every way. This is how we garden for a brighter day. Yeah. Grab your gloves and a trowel in hand. We'll turn this patch to a promised land. Tomatoes climbing, peppers in line. Patience and water make everything fine. Eat what you grow. Learn as you grow. Let the rhythm flow. Hearts grow every day in every way. This is how we garden for a brighter day. Ooh, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Compost turning the soils alive. Buzzing bees keep the blooms in drive. Every sprout's a story told of healing hearts and hands of gold. From garden beds to kitchen plates, nature's time never waits. Share your harvest, share your song. Together we'll keep growing strong. Let's plant what you grow. Hearts learn as you grow. Let the rhythm flow. Hearts grow every day in every way. This is how we got it for a brighter day. Let's plant what you grow. Hearts learn as you grow. Let the rhythm flow. Hearts grow every day in every way. This is how we got it for a brighter day. This is how we garden for a brighter day. Georgia.
Let's shop. Winter greenhouse ideas, cheap do-it-yourself weekend warriors to luxury big budget builds, Walipinis, lean-tos, wood-fired stoves, solariums. This show is all about smarter, warmer, more efficient winter greenhouses, new methods, better materials, real upgrades. We will try to cover passive solar, thermal mass, modern heating, insulation, greenhouse styles, what to grow, managing conditions, and more. Team Replay, are you just as confused as I am? Are you interested in a greenhouse? Do you already have a greenhouse? What's the temperature that it gets there? Is it cold there? How's everybody doing? I see we've got Serena, Dave Knight, Teach Treats, Robin Gardens, GT Junior Grows Alaska, Food Forest Permaculture. Tell me, how's it going? It's been a little bit since we've had a nice educational togetherness, right? Okay, we need to understand purpose, right? What is the purpose? Everyone's saying hi to everybody. Keep on conversating. Tell me, what's your purpose, right? What do you want out of this greenhouse whole thing? What do you want to grow in it? Are you trying to just extend your season on the shoulders, get a couple more weeks in? Are you trying to grow year round? Do you need space for starts or full crops? Are you trying to get by with some tropical plants where normally tropical plants don't grow? Is it going to be a work space, a hangout spot? Is there going to be a chair where we're going to sit and chill in there too? Know your climate. What is the lowest, coldest it gets? How much wind or snow happens? What's the snow load, right? How many hours of winter sun do you actually really receive? Where is this thing going? What is the space? What is the location? How much room do you have? Is it flat? Is it sloped? Does some groundwork need to happen? Can you place it facing south for winter sun? Is this area protected by strong winds? Do you have access to water and power? What's your space and location, and then your budget? I think that really controls the whole conversation, right? What's your realistic budget for this structure? Have you been saving up for this? Do you want heating in it, right? Do you prefer a do-it-yourself, or do you want to buy a kit? Do you want to hire a team to put it up? Do you want to just call some buddies, a family member? Do you want a hoop house, a lean-to, a dome, a tunnel, a framed greenhouse? Is it going to be permanent or seasonal? Does it need a foundation? We need to talk about material, right? We need to talk about flooring. There's plastic film, polycarbonate panels, there's glass. Which one do you choose? Do you need double layer insulation? How long does this stuff last before we have to replace it, right? Are you going to use passive solar? Is there another heating method that you can afford? Don't forget about ventilation still, even in the winter. We are focusing on winter. We're not really talking about the summer greenhouse or a shade house. That's like a whole nother hour's worth of conversations. Is there maintenance having a greenhouse? Cleaning panels once a year. Are there going to be pests that we need to manage? Things that break and need to be repaired. Share your stories. If you have some stories on maintenance on your greenhouse, I want to hear about it. Here's a big one: zoning and permits. Some of this doesn't matter. Some of this does. Do you need a permit to put that structure on your property? Is there HOA restrictions? Are there height or distance rules from property lines? What's the future going to look like, right? Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I'll minimize my notes to see what we have going on. Hey, Dusty Flats. All of the above, says Dave. Dusty says grow seedlings to keep them upright in nets out and for curing harvest later. Curing the harvest. What a cool thing to have a greenhouse for. I love that. Like the potatoes, the sweet potatoes and the squash. Brandon's here. Hey, save for some land to get one of these. I don't know what I would do with a greenhouse. Teats treats. I have a 1,000 watt grow light that comes on 3 hours before the sun comes up, and then I have it on for 3 hours after the sun goes down. Being able to extend that sunlight hours with your plants using, how are you powering that, might I ask? Because I don't remember. I'm sure you have information on your channel about it. A lean-to is in Dusty Flat's future with reclaimed materials. Love it. Jay Dixon is here. Over on the Urban Gardener, Saturday, Sunday, Jay Dixon ran the show. So hit the replay on that. Dusty Flats, install the heat sink. Hope it helps. Brandon saying never buy with an HOA. I hear ya. Robin has a dream. My dream would be a polycrub with power. Staff to install. Dream big, right? Yeah, I do not like putting kits together. Hello, Mother Earth Garden Club. So I need... Oh, it's extension cords from your... Oh, are you looking to get into solar to power the greenhouse? It's one of those things where the greenhouse can start with this, and then we add each year something fun to it. We're going to look at some greenhouses and go window shopping. Howie would really like a greenhouse attached to a motorhome. I want to know if any of these lean-tos can go on tiny homes. That's for sure. So when we're window shopping, let's see what we can find. There are, as you know, plenty of resources in the description. Wait, stay here, don't go yet. You can check it out after the show's over, because I like to give you a little homework. Okay, so I'm not going to play videos because I've been in trouble for that in the past. So is this better? Yeah. This is a sunken greenhouse wallapini, so you can see it. And then they talked about like geothermal, where you put the tubes in the ground and it blows air. And then here's what they decided for the build. So you would have to go in and go to their site, their YouTube channel, to get through how they did it. But that's just to show you, like, when you hear the word sunken greenhouse, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so Walipini greenhouses are eco-friendly to maintain temperature. So you're actually placing the foundation 4 to 6 feet below the surface to help capture the warmth from the Earth's core, right? So if you've never seen this before, here's, the ground. It's actually buried, and they have brick. Looks like gravel. And then, watch where your water table is. And then you're also angling it with the sun, right? Where is your sun angle in the winter, depending on where you live on Earth, okay? These all are part of the engineering, and they matter, okay? This one has a cold sink here. There's the topsoil, south-facing windows. Check out the angle. You also have to know, does it need to shed snow, right? Are you going to get snow? Now, snow can be packed around the place. It can help with heat. There's all kinds of tips and tricks. There's ways to heat these things. Let's see if I have another picture before I go into... Here's the inside of one. So you walk down the stairs into here, and they just have it in the ground. A lot of the times we see raised beds in these places. It looks like they have a hose. You have to think about your water. Do you have a rain barrel? Do those inspire you? Let me go to the chat before I talk about heating, and we can just keep window shopping. This really is just a fun conversation. Janet Potter, welcome. To dream about greenhouses and see if we can collectively figure some stuff out. Teeth Treats would love to go solar, but you live in San Francisco and only have 25 by 50 feet. Hey, Barry, welcome to this. Robin says, reality is 2 blow-away zipper greenhouses from Aldi, but hey, they get my plants hardened off and growing just fine. Christmas lights to heat the inside. This is why we are here together, to learn about all the little tricks that we do for our budget. I'm assuming in those videos, they'll tell you how much that cost. Know where you live with your climate. How much rain do you get in a year, and where does rain flow on your property? Good evening, Brook Trout from Florida. GT would build something like that. The Walipini, the sunken greenhouse. Wouldn't it be amazing if you just left your kitchen and you walked into your attached greenhouse? That would be fantastic, don't you think? Adam is here. Hey. Adam's got ideas for Jay. Been doing homework. Jay's throwing out definitions. A Walipini is an underground greenhouse that uses the Earth's natural insulation to maintain a more stable temperature for year-round gardening. I feel like that would be a Minnesota choice for sure. Yeah, literal window shopping, right? Mother Earth Garden Club says, my greenhouse isn't used in winter except for garden tool storage. Hey! Thank you for watching the ad and supporting the channel. That helps us buy books and seeds and research to provide shows. Now, this looks like a good tip. I'm looking at Turbo over here. Christmas lights should be incandescent to heat your cold frame. Now, I have done cold frames, and we're going to have a whole show dedicated to winter sewing, which is more of the cold frames and jugs and stuff like that. And we're going to have a special guest. See if you can guess who it will be in the comments when we do that show. Dusty says, nice. If the earth wasn't flat, I would definitely utilize a hill. Oh, I've seen people in Canada take a hill and chunk it out and put it up against that to use that to keep heat, right? So if we go into... Dusty goes, are incandescent even available anymore? Because that doesn't mean LED. Sorry, I'm not good with electrical terms. The cat is the guest. This is the cat of experience growing. Here we go. Dave Knight, 1K on the greenhouse, 2K on the solar and water, 7 years and still going. Dave, what are we adding next? Are you fully like, this is the final project, greenhouse is wrapped up? Or are you like, well, let's add XYZ? Tell me more. Love hearing true numbers too, actually. And we see what Dave Knight grows over on his channel. If you haven't seen it, he shows it. Okay, so heating options. There's, do I have pictures for these? What's this one? What's this one? I think these are just pictures of greenhouses. This is where we left off. Compost heating walls. Okay, so like, what have you guys seen for heating? What have you heard of? We talked a little bit, like for 1 second, about the geothermal. There's putting compost inside. There's actually a picture I'm going to show about a hotbed inside the greenhouse, and then you can even cover that with a hoop and plastic and have seedlings and trays inside of there. There's rocket mass heaters, solar air heaters, heat sink trenches, small space heaters with thermostats. There's all kinds of insulation hacks that people do. Like some of the ones that grow fruit trees, tropical trees, citrus trees, I think is what I've seen. They literally line the whole outside of the place with like straw bales and mulch and compost. And so when that heats up and breaks down, it produces heat inside of, I think it was just a polytunnel. But this was a place that doesn't get -30 and have a bunch of snow like me. What I have seen with people in Michigan is bubble wrap. They put bubble wrap around the inside walls during the winter. I didn't even know that was a thing until I saw it. Frost cloth. We have in one of the CSA farms, they have a polytunnel and then they have little hoops over the beds and they used frost cloth, and they're just growing really cold hardy things over the winter, or keeping things that are fully grown in nature's refrigerator, right? Your beets, your carrots. Insulated wall ends, so capping it and closing it off so cold air isn't blowing through there. Having a greenhouse inside of a greenhouse, essentially. We see a lot of that. We also need to be sealing any gaps or cracks, insulating the entrance, insulating the foundation, insulating the north-facing wall. That's why a lot of people on the north side either have it against a building or a dirt beam. Insulate interior. Like I said, what else have you seen besides bubble wrap? An energy curtain, building a windbreak. We've seen water used a lot. Like that's when we get into the thermal mass conversation. Now, if Homestead Aquarius is lurking, a flower pot heater, I feel like he would know what I'm talking about. Protecting your plants with horticultural fleece, using mulch to insulate plant roots, keeping individual plants warm with cloaks, like a covery thing. And then having raised beds, I see a lot, right? You could actually take your raised beds you already have and make little greenhouses on them. And this is where I've seen people put Christmas lights too, is you have, maybe a rebar with like the PVC piping and then a solid wood beam down the center to hold for support. And then they have the plastic. Oh, on the outside, there's turbo. Or even building a hotbed. There's a book that I reviewed that I'm going to be showing a video on that I've already filmed, how to build a hotbed, and I'm going to show one here. Using compost as a heat source. Does anybody bring in compost into their greenhouse for the winter? And then using snow as a natural outdoor insulation. I see there's an ad over here. Going back to the chat here before we move into this. Oh, that's right. In Cali, there's different rules. We have to buy LED. Okay. The greenhouse life never ends. There's always additions to it, right? Jay says, yes, you need to look really carefully at packaging and can find incandescent holiday lights, or look on the used market, thrift stores. Dusty Flat says water tanks take too much room and they would freeze without another heat source. Depending on where you are, at some point, those 50-gallon barrels of water will freeze unless there is another heat source, is what Dusty's saying. Now, some places like Alabama can get away with just having some water barrels to trap the sun's heat from the day in the barrel, and then it releases the heat at night. And by the time the sun comes up and warms up the place again, there's not too much dip in temperature. But like for me here, to have a greenhouse in Minnesota that isn't heated, it would be the same temperature inside as it is outside at night. I would lose all of that heat unless I am doing something, right? Dave says I can turn on and lights and water on my phone while camping. You got it all automated now? Oh, there's Homestead Aquarius. Thank you for the flower. Great topic. Thank you. It's our annual greenhouse conversation. We did one last year. If you missed out, I will link it in the description after this because I didn't have time. Teats Treat says I bought a little buddy tent heater and then built a brick terracotta chimney and it burns for 5 hours. And that's not very long. That might be just enough for you in your area. I was looking at greenhouses that have the wood chimney in them or like a rocket stove, and you need to put wood in that thing every 3 hours or more to keep it up to temp. So like who gets any sleep then? Not, if it's really that serious of a thing. And I don't know what I would grow. Honestly, I don't know what I would even try to grow in a greenhouse in the winter around here without me having a panic attack about about it. Robin Garden says bubble wrap inside, very popular in the UK for greenhouses. Really? Okay. I think for me, I would have to have the thing like Arctopia has, where it's like it's a shop with the greenhouse, and it's built specifically. In, like, I think they might have heated floor. That's what I would do. I would have heated floor cement with drains, and I would have raised beds, and then I just wouldn't have to worry about it. Because if you have to worry about, hey, DCBs, opening and ventilation and temperature control, I would want things as automated as possible, definitely. Howie says, stocking my motorhome tomorrow and I want a lemon tree in it. Skylight will work, I hope. Good night, Earthlings. Good night, Howie. Rest well. Adam also says that the incandescent bulbs are hard to find. Halogen bulbs can't be purchased any longer here in Oregon. Yeah, geothermal costs the big money, 15,000 to 40,000 now. I mean, maybe you could get an agriculture grant, but then you're like, I say this kindly, letting the government in. I'm not going to go deep into that. DCB says, sorry, I have a difficult time knowing names with how YouTube is doing them now. Hi, everyone. It's the handles. And they say this is the way they're going to run it now. And so people have the ability to go and change their handle if it's too confusing. Try and have it match your channel name the best you can, or we just have to get to know everybody again, right? Jay says, weird but true. I helped build ecological houses that had greenhouses attached to the south side and utilized various aspects of thermal mass. I loved one that there's condensation that happens and they ran a gutter inside. So every time the condensation fell off of the greenhouse windows, it went into the gutter and they captured it. And I don't know the numbers. I think I showed it in last year's greenhouse window shopping. Dusty says my electric co sends regular updates of a graph, and when I start seedlings inside, my graph takes a jump out of the frugal zone. I was looking at indoor grow setups, but it was like $400. Starts with a V. Veno. And I thought, well, I could plug my battery bank into them and power them that way, but I still have to charge my battery bank, every couple days. Plus, I didn't want to spend $400 on. I'd already have lights in a rack. I'll just use what I have. Robin says, yeah, those terracotta flower pots with candles only raises the temp about 4 degrees. And yeah, what does that last? 1 hour? Kind of space. Teats Treat says, I built raised beds inside my greenhouse. They work as thermal batteries. We have a couple pictures of where people have their barrels. One in last year's show, you got to hit it up. It had a whole pond inside of a greenhouse. We're looking at different ones this round. He normally, Jay, is climbing the shelf. I'm waiting for that to happen. Dusty, bringing up the bug situation, bringing that compost into the greenhouse is asking for trouble. I don't want the bill either. for propane to heat a greenhouse, Mother Earth Garden Club. So I don't know about it. Radio Jonesy says at home today. Oh, ho, ho. Really? I don't know what tradies working everywhere means, and this is going to cost me. Oh, are you having the work done right now? I think I know what you're talking about. It was like a shower and a toilet. It's totally going to cost you. They charge like $120 an hour, Jonesy. Don't distract them. Just let them work. DCBs, I think, was taking a break, and I know you had bee stuff going on. People are sharing. Homestead Aquarius, bonus use of a greenhouse. Engineer it right, and you can heat your house with it. See, yeah, DCBs has bee. Oh, late fall queens didn't go well at all. It's so stressful. Teach Treat says, between my grow light and the little heater, my goal is minimum temp at 55 degrees. Tell me what you're growing in there. And Mother Earth says, I chose to grow inside my house, which we're already paying to heat, right? With lighted hydroponics. Now, hydroponics I am not doing. I also looked at that too, and I just can't. I'm not. But yeah, Gardner Scott spent years thinking and saving to get his greenhouse, and he has it set up the way he wanted to. I don't know if he's making any changes to it in the next year, but he definitely shares all about it in Colorado, if I remember right. So if you want to learn about greenhouses, totally check him out. I'll have to get some links to his stuff in the description if I don't think I have. Cheese Treat says, I am starting a small hot compost pile and I'm going to run a plastic tube through it for heat as well. Okay. I don't remember what it's called, but I saw this and they like tubed the heat to something to heat it. I don't remember what the example was. If it was a greenhouse or if it was like their actual house. But I saw a big pile with the tube thing to run to force the heat into another place, right? Greenhouses in the winter, says Robin. I'd have to also add supplemental light to grow anything because we don't have enough sunlight hours between December and March. Yeah, like I don't need all that stress. You know? DCB says on the positive side, I combined the bees that were left. Okay. 5 real strong double deep colonies, and that CSA farm that we've heard about is taking it all? Okay. It was the one that might be the one. Planted in the Garden is promoting them. I don't have it in front of me right now. Dave says, I used Mylar on the greenhouse walls last year, more light in the winter and warmer. Let's see. Do you tape it? Do you staple it? Do you tack it? How are you getting it? Reading the chat, everybody. So, okay, maybe it's not Vivo Sun. He planted in the garden, used to use grow tents. This year, it's not a grow tent, it's a shelf with magnetic lights. And it's a mix of hydroponics and soil. And it started with a V. I don't have it. It is Colorado and is scaling back his gardening projects and videos for a while, still creating, just less this year. He's got such a catalog, though, you know? Like, you could still watch him every day with all of his old stuff. The things Teats Treats growing: tomatoes, basil, tea herbs, carrots, hot pepper. You're still growing lots of worm-loving things. And carnivorous plants. Are you the one that sent Nate his carnivorous plants? I think you are. That was so cool. My side story here. My husband, you have met. If you haven't seen that episode, check it out. He bought this kit, and it's like a terrarium, and it comes with the peat puck, and it's like, yeah, it's a carnivorous plant. And I'm like, but it's in a box. It's seeds. It's seeds for some carnivorous plant that takes 3 months to germinate. And I'm like, this isn't great for a child. Like he's totally not going to be interested in this. Edible Acres channel has a good series on passive heating for greenhouses and polytunnels for a couple years back. Those are the places you need to go because I have no experience. We're just having some fun talking about people's experiences, window shopping what I can, talking about passive solar mastery, south-facing orientation, reflecting walls, mylar, paint, aluminum panels, glazing options. We have to seal up the leaks, right? So thermal mass solutions are water barrel walls, stone, brick, or sand beds, phase change, heat storage buckets. We also have our cheap do-it-yourself greenhouse options for weekend warriors that live in, the warm places. Like, what would you say? Probably Alabama. I can't remember where where's Stivers Homestead? They had a cattle panel greenhouse. PVC hoop houses, PVC conduit plus plastic sheeting, rebar stakes in the ground for the hoops, easy to build in a few hours, works for raised beds. You can even have it so it's framed, so it just like lifts up and lifts down. It's low cost and time. We see people with cattle panel greenhouses, and I've seen people do it with snow, but I don't trust it. It would collapse. So unless you framed it better, I would have to heat it, to be honest, anyways, but it's a smaller place to heat. You bend those panels into an arch. There is links in the description for what that would look like. Having the plastic over it, using wood at the bottom and the ends. I think they're super popular. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the button. If you already are, thank you. One of the best ways you can support the channel is by sharing with a friend, with a neighbor, with another gardener. Let's grow the community. Let's have more conversations. I'm going to show some more pictures here. It's Kentucky. Yeah. I should have known that. There's the playlist for Edible Acres. There's a makeshift greenhouse in the garage, metal shelves, 4-tier, grow lights, love that. And it has mylar. Great use of space. You staple it. You staple the mylar to the wood. Okay. Compost heat project with the tube is going to be super cool. Teach treats. How long will it be hot? Everybody place your bets. My greenhouse will get over 90 if I don't open a window. In the winter? That's just so bizarre for my brain. I know you said where you are, but it's like I'm still Minnesota mind, Well. Dusty says I can never seem to get compost cooking. Checking the tumbler tomorrow as a ton of brassicas and oak leaves. Oh, the HOA land would definitely have their eyes on you if you tried to stick up any structure. Adam says, I think the same about greenhouses, Robin, but then every single spring, a friend 20 miles north of me, half a zone colder, gets her starts in the garden a week or two sooner than I do in a non-heated or lights. And it's like the greenhouses around here are big and fully heated. Like, those big ones that hang and it blows all the hot air and fans and vents, and it's thousands of dollars. Teeth Street says, I run construction jobs and use demo trash to build my greenhouse. Love it. Serena, before we get the pictures out, has a greenhouse in the backyard too. It has a window that opens automatically when the greenhouse reaches a certain temperature. It must have the beeswax on the pole thing, so when it gets hot, it does this and opens. Those are super cool. Okay, let's see where we left off. This is a place that sells lean-tos, custom lean-tos, and it's called Gothic Arch Greenhouses, I think. Let's see. I don't want the words to pop up. So it's all different levels of traditional or aluminum or like a sunroom, freestanding. You can see the different levels. Crystal blend. What if I click on it? What happens? What do you think of that? Tiny little door, not a lot of space, no shelves. I'm like, what's the point? But maybe for somebody that's great for them. I don't know. Here's what I like. Check that out. We've got, I don't like the blue trim around the windows for pointing stuff out, but look at these solar panels. And then here is the greenhouse. And there's a good sized door and it's right off of something. I don't know if it's the kitchen like I'd like, but it's something. So here's the inside of that one. They did raised beds. And here's what they're growing. So if you want to see them, they're in the link in the description as well. This is called Yoder Built Greenhouses Outdoor Living Experience. Pretty, right? The wood. They also sell stuff for coops and animals. But maybe you can get some ideas there. Dave Knight says, I put sand in the greenhouse and pretend I'm at the beach in January in the 70s on a sunny day. I saw pictures of people, like, they took their shirt off to get the sun exposure, Here's an inflatable greenhouse. Jock in the Garden has one of these. So, not for Minnesota, but definitely like a temporary, there's the type of shelving they put in there. It's like, okay, there's a market for this, right? Maybe. Jay says, I helped build a 2-story attached greenhouse like the wooden home. Oh, and it was fantastic. Brooke Trout, I go to the beach in January, jump in the 60-degree water, and pretend I'm doing a polar plunge in Lake Michigan. You can also go over to Etsy and look, a greenhouse ornament. Okay, hey. Anyways, there's blueprints you can look at to build your own greenhouse. If you wanted to buy the blueprint, this one's $20. There might be a Black Friday sale. If this makes sense to you on reading blueprints or the materials list and how it's framed, permanent structure that's pretty would be what I would go for, but realistically, all I can afford is some tubes and some plastic over a little bed, and then this is another type of setup. Jay, innocent look, can I wear an inflatable dinosaur costume in the inflatable greenhouse? You sure can. This one has the barrels. See the barrels all against the wall? So like the sun will come in and hit the back wall and heat up all the water barrels. And then it lets heat out. Now, I don't remember where Grow Journey is as far as in the world, like how cold it gets there. But you can see their shelving systems. I want to ask you guys, are you wood or wire shelving in your greenhouse? There's different pros and cons to that. So here's the hotbed where they filled it with manure. And then, see it's in the corner of this style greenhouse? It's this one over here with the wood bark sides. They have hoops over it to pull plastic over it to keep the heat in, and they're doing seedlings in it. And it's supposed to radiate heat to help heat the whole place when it's closed up. They've got wood for their tables and shelves, and they have things in the ground as well. So that's another one. Let's go over here. You could get really fancy with tools, thermometers, hygrometers, soil thermometers. We had to have fans for air circulation, so we're not going to have a bunch of mold and powdery mildew and, makes plants strong. You got to have a way to water inside of your greenhouse. How are you going to do that? Do you want a moisture meter? Do you want row covers and frost cloths? Do you want to have your own set of tools in there? A chair, right? One of those thermostatic plugs that have the automatically turn on heaters and fans and controlling all of that. Some of us need to have extra lights. Do you need just a headlamp to work in there? Do you need artificial lights to keep the plants going? Robin says, oh, shed and greenhouse combo definitely has my interest. Built this lean-to to hold the wire rack shelves. Cool, Dusty says. Wood shelves hold moisture, and that can be a bad thing. You know, pest control, what are you going to do? Are you going to have some handheld spray bottle with something in it, like garlic or pepper spray, sticky traps, diatomaceous earth in your greenhouse, walking through it, just like we do with our gardens, to see what's going on, right? Robin says, those greenhouses with steaming manure, could you actually stand the smell inside to work? Should we all take a field trip and go see one? Find out? Thermal mass containers. We saw the water barrels, stone-filled buckets, bricks, the wall, like whatever the wall is made out of when it's that angled build. What should you have on hand for maintenance? Everybody say it. Duct tape, right? Zip ties. Yeah. Sometimes greenhouses are giving away not so good for them plastic, but it's fine for you plastic because you just need to cut a certain size out of what they had, right? Homestead Aquarius. I love this stuff. This is what excites me about gardening. The buildy stuff, the nerding out. Yeah, what can we build? Jay says, my shed has a not perfect south-facing possibility for a greenhouse conversion with the HOA security frisking me for connector for clear panel walls. Hothouse field trip. Who's driving? Because I don't like driving. Even in the winter and in the cold, you might need to do a 5 to 10 minute ventilation, cracking a door, opening a vent, you know. I mean, once you go in and out, is that enough? You just have to watch your temperature and what time of day. I've only worked with cold frames, which we'll talk about when we do that show. Air circulation. It can be solar powered fans, battery fans, rechargeable fans, camping ones, you know. Looking through my notes. Whoa, things are happening. This is happening. Deeds Treat says, awesome live tonight. Very informative. That's what I look for. I have a thing to say. Somewhere in my notes over here. We have more things to talk about, I think. Super chat donations like yours help us stock our gardeners' reading materials and support the channel by helping us buy books, seeds, and resources to keep teaching and growing together. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Let me get back to this page. There we go. Going back over here. Everybody say thank you. Oh, I think I can heart it and do a reply. And see, no, if you've seen me in other places, you know what I'm going to say. Oh. There it is. Appreciate that. It takes time to prepare the conversations. See what else we've got in the chat before I read more things. Okay. So perhaps you need to dehumidify without using electricity. Let's talk about it. Buckets of rock salt or calcium chloride, charcoal briquettes in open containers, small trays of unscented kitty litter, straw bales, sawdust in open bins, rotating materials every week if you need to dehumidify your greenhouse. Does anybody have that problem? I know that fighting mold is definitely on your list of things to observe, right? How do we know if we're choosing plastic or glass? Now, if I would have had the time or found the resource, I could have been like, here's the flow chart. You know how you go, do you have wind? Yes or no? Go to this one. Do you have snow? Yes or no? Go to this one. Those kinds of charts. I don't have one of those to show you, but I would have loved to have that. If you choose plastic, if you have wind, you have snow, you have cheap do-it-yourself bones, you want easy repairs, Maybe you have a kid that throws things and is on their 5th broken window. Rolling up the sides for ventilation, polytunnels, hoop houses, temporary seasonal things, plastic all the way, right? Thank you, Jay. To help support Shawnee Grows, hit the thumbs up, the likes, tell YouTube that people should come here, right? Sharing it out also helps. Subscribing definitely helps. Memberships start at 99 cents a month. There's stuff in there for you. We love reading stories when we get new members, commenting, and did you know I don't have a shirt on today, but I have an order on the way for some merch for the winter to have some sleeves. So see that on the channel soon when it gets here. Now, glass. How do you know if glass is your material? Robin says polycrub for the snow load. And what's the better thing to do? Is it better to go on the inside and push it a little to get the snow to fall off when the sun is like at noon? Or is it better to have some kind of like squeegee? I wouldn't say shovel. You know what I'm talking about? Which method is the best on getting snow off your greenhouse? Please, somebody have the answer. Dusty says we opted for triple polycarbonate roof. The rest is refurbished windows. Yeah, like down on the sides are windows. Is that what you're saying? Using scraps to make things is fantastic. Adam says I can see the thermal compost for heat in a greenhouse, but wowzer, that's a decent jump in space for a minimum of 2 cubic yards of compost going at one time with the space to turn them. And it's like winter is 6 months. How long is that compost going to last me? 30 days? I don't know, you know. The kid will be so far in debt for windows, his money will never be his own. Yeah, it's a whole thing over here. It's a real struggle. Dusty says, oh, the snow load. I could leave it up there. We use a snow rake. Okay, yes, reclaimed windows on the sides. Homestead Aquarius was out and scored a bunch of busted concrete blocks. Just got to get them home. Oh, okay. Jay says the term polycrub refers to specific trademark design of a robust polytunnel and greenhouse hybrid engineered to endure extremely harsh climates, such as those found in Shetland Islands. Well, I mean, what is the long-term, what is it called? UV exposure rating? It's like 5 years on that kind of stuff, don't you think? Robin says most of them the polycrubs are a pointed peak. So snow should mostly slide off. Yeah, all about the angles. We all know what happens when it gets a little warm. The thing that gets dangerous is when we get that ice build up and then we get snow. We all know what I'm talking about if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you choose glass, that means you want some long-term luxury build. You have low wind, low snow. You want a solarium, a sunroom style greenhouse. Clarity, aesthetics. You're okay with the higher cost, right? Heavier framing. Let's see what I have in the banners before I talk about Costco and Harbor Freight greenhouses. If you have one, tell me in the chat. In the comment section, you in the replay, do you have one? Because I'm going to rip them apart in a little bit here. We haven't talked about crops. I have so much to say still. Okay, let's see here. Pallet wood greenhouse. Build the frame from free pallets. Homestead Aquarius, I see you. Use old windows, clear panels, plastic, great for small backyard greenhouses projects. Cost is low. You can get them things for free, but you got to take them apart to get the pieces. Recycled windows. We were talking about reusing things from old jobs, doors, storm windows, salvaged frames. Strong, charming, efficient. Works well for 4-season planting. If it's free, right? Cold frame boxes, scrap wood, cinder blocks, old windows up against the house foundation on a south side, west side maybe. Perfect for your salad greens and seed starting. It is a weekend build, right? Mini hoop for raised beds we've discussed. I feel like well enough. Low tunnels in the greenhouse we've talked about. The lean-tos we've looked at. Not really talking about cooling a greenhouse. We're really focusing on winter. Okay, crops list. Cold, hardy greens thrive in chilly spaces. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, tatsoi, arugula, mustard greens, mizuna. Fast turnaround greens, great for quick harvest and repeated sowing. Lettuce mixes, baby Asian greens, microgreens, green onions, radish greens. Having those cold hardy root crops mature, so when you come into the cold season, when we're losing all that sun, we're just in the fridge outside, right? They just made the little frost blanket poo, right? Carrots, radish, turnips, beets, herbs. Yes, herbs. Parsley, cilantro, dill, chives, thyme, sage. Cilantro is on the menu at that community supported agriculture near me here in Minnesota, so I know it works. I seen it. Hardy brassicas for larger setups if you have small hoop house or cattle panel build. Your cabbage, your broccoli rabe, your pak choy, Napa cabbage. Plants that need a little bit of extra heat. Okay. If you have the thermal mass or the frost cloth or the heating options, maybe your greenhouse is solar powered. Strawberries, peas, celery, you might get away with. Now, we saw Teach Treats talking about way warmer crops than I would have ever imagined putting in a greenhouse. And then we have people in the Arctic North growing citrus trees. You know, like a lot of things are possible when you put a little math to it. Having the insulation and experience and the brains and the time and the patience to have those things, the peppers, the tomatoes, the lemongrass, the ginger, the turmeric, for those in the north, that's just doesn't make sense to me. We talked about tools, okay? Thermometers, all the things, watering can, venting, condensation. This is what I think I want. Greenhouse plastic from Bootstrap Farmer, 6 mil, has a 4-year UV rating. Let's put a little can out for tips. No, I'm just kidding. What I actually need is to get the covering to keep the, oh, I want to swear so bad, to keep the cabbage moth caterpillar off my cabbages is what I need to get, is the bug netting. I'm going to not swear. If you get heavy snow, you can consider upgrading to a 10 mil polyethylene clear film to start. Okay, so let me go back to the chat before I tear apart Harbor Freight greenhouses. There's a roof rake Jay's talking about at a yard sale. Hey, love it. Is that the same thing that people use to clean off their solar panels? Dusty says the snow is what's stopping me from adding a cold frame in front of a greenhouse. There's a link. Teats Treat says my first greenhouse was the $80 off eBay Amazon. It's a great way to try it out. Oh, and then you were hooked? Really? Dusty says our first lean-to was made of a friend's kit greenhouse that blew over. Worked well for many years till polycarbonate clouded too much. Oh, Homestead went outside. Dusty says, I think it's raining. Yeah, it says it's raining. I hear rain. It's 46 degrees Fahrenheit right now, so it could change to snow, I heard, maybe Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, but I don't think I'm going to get the snow, to be honest. It's Monday, right? I think. Shade cloths are a good tool. Knowing how to use them. Jay says I created very basic low tunnel from the dollar store hula hoops. Oh, I have a bunch of junk hula hoops right now, Jay. Pulled apart, shoved it in the ground, shaped covers, gave me an additional 15 bushels of a third of my garden past the usual growing season. I literally have a bunch of junk hoops right now. Dusty says this last summer was so hideous with dew points, I couldn't even think of a polytunnel. Yeah, I know. Teat Street says 35 is as cold as it gets. It's still 60 during the day. Look at you. Hey, Carol's here. Hi, Carol. Oh, okay. So Friday, over at South Florida Sunshine Tropicals, we are talking about herbal remedies, old-fashioned remedies, tried and true, not the ones from AI, from the garden for cold and flu. You're not going to want to miss it. Collaboration with Shawnee Grows. I don't know what time. It's on Friday. Whenever. She sends me the link. Yeah, I know. Donations for bug netting would be appreciated. Help Shawnee so I don't have to swear. It's just, I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm getting the netting. No more. Oh, Robin. Fingers crossed behind her back. Oh, there's a special one for solar panels? Okay. We're talking about snow rakes. Okay, so that's 9:30 Central is the show. Well, so that's on a Friday. I'll be okay. Thanksgiving's on Thursday for me that I know of. Dusty says, "Oh, I raced to get the sheds painted. They said rain by 4, and it started at 3. Out came a tarp to the rescue. Always have a tarp on hand." Okay, let's. I know, Dusty. Never grow brassicas without netting ever. It's just too much. Jody Genealogy, you've been having some what do you call it? They just play. It's like a live stream that's on a thing. That's a real camera, right? It's a live camera, and then the chat's open, and people can just talk for like the whole night. I think she had it open. Interesting. Are the results showing you that it's worth it to do that, Jody? I'd love to know if you'd like to share. I'd like to know. Okay, let's tear apart some stuff here. Troubleshooting Costco and Harbor Freight greenhouses. They are very popular. They can be very problematic. Okay. Now, Jess, her husband Maya has a channel, and he talks about how to make one not suck, if I can say that. Like he makes it work, you know. Here's the issue I have with them. Frames are too lightweight. They lift in the wind, they twist, they bend, they collapse. How do you fix it? Well, you have to add extra ground anchors, add cross bracing, screw the frame into baseboards, right? Have a good foundation. Here's another thing that I hear happen. Panels blow out or pop loose. The clips are weak. They're crap, right? So replacing them with a heavy-duty greenhouse panel clip, using foam gaskets or weather stripping around the panels, using self-tapping screws and washers, could help upgrade the said kit. Gaps are letting in cold air, so looking for the gaps and sealing with some kind of silicone or tape or foam, weather stripping. The doors warp and don't seal on those cheap kits from places, so adding extra hinges, replacing with your own wooded frame, weather stripping the edges. They can overheat in the spring and summer. You need to get some automatic vents going in there. Using a shade cloth, adding a fan. Always have a fan, right? They also have been known to have weak bases and be wobbly. So having a treated wood base bolted to the frame or concrete blocks, whatever you can swing to get it stronger. And then they aren't well rated for big snow loads, and then it can collapse the panels. So having extra inside supports by 2x4s for center posts, brushing the snow off regularly, any kind of stabilization. Now, how do you guys know what kind of floor you want in your greenhouse? For those of you that have one, Barry, I would love some cabbage right now. Aren't they on sale for 99 cents? Check the sales, Barry. The dryer's done. What was I saying? How did you come to the conclusion on what floor you wanted in your greenhouse? For those of you here that have one, tell me. What was the checklist? Dusty said a vid I used to watch, she got locked in her Costco greenhouse because of the latch. Ah, really? Okay, let's see if we can figure out flooring. Humidity, drainage, warmth, pests, air quality. How do we figure this out? Well, there's bare ground. We saw that in the pictures. It's the cheapest. It has drainage. There's earthworms, right? What do we use bare earth flooring in greenhouses for? Polytunnels, soil growers, budget builds. There's going to be weeds. So whatever weed management you want to do, like I saw, is it the Seasonal Homestead? She has that paper. I put a link in it somewhere at some point. It was like, is it called AgriGrow or something? And they use wood chips because then it's not plastic, right? Gravel over landscaping fabric. Now, I don't like the sound of walking on gravel, so I don't think that would be in my greenhouse. Pavers or brick adds thermal mass. Now we're talking. Great for high-end small greenhouses, easy to clean, expensive and labor intensive. So it depends. Wood decking pallets have a rustic look, keep plants elevated, good for very wet areas. They can rot. Well, what's that decking for waterproof? Is it plastic? Let's see what's happening. Carol says, hope it's warm in that Costco greenhouse if it's winter. Carol would like her greenhouse to have Florida flooring. Jody says, I bought roofing fabric for my garden aisles. Worked good. Save money. Get Lowe's construction paper. Cheaper than the Agri-Grow weed barrier fabric paper that we're talking about. Are the chicken thighs still $1.55 a pound at Aldi, Robin? Trex might be what I'm thinking of. Like, it's a material that they use for decks off of the lake around here. I just don't remember. Without calling somebody, phoning a friend. You know, cedar, but that's expensive, okay? Concrete flooring. Now, I would use concrete if it was heated concrete and I had a drain system and it was like attached to a shop or a house. But if it was just like a standalone greenhouse, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. You know, gravel over landscape fabric seems to be the cheapest, that lasts the longest. I don't know. Did I go through? Yes, I did that one. Okay, so what did I put in the description? I put, of course, links for the merch store, for joining our memberships. The photos I've shown for sure are in the description. And then links to like the extension service for Minnesota to talk about deep winter greenhouse. There's also an article by the Spruce that shows 12 greenhouses. There's a quiz from BC Greenhouses, quiz to find your greenhouse. Now, I don't know if it's behind a paywall. Like if you go through the quiz and then they're like, enter your email and then blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But I thought, if there's a quiz to help me figure out what I need for my area, let's try it, right? Shopping the Costco greenhouses. Heating with manure, 16 do-it-yourself ways to insulate your greenhouse. There's a link to that. The do-it-yourself builds, hotbeds, cold frames, cattle panels, pallet, Walmart 3-tier mini that I say is good for inside the house. But if you can roll it on wheels in and out of a garage onto a deck against a brick wall that's warm. How to heat a greenhouse without electricity. I wonder if that one's Gardner Scott. I didn't write who it was. There's a video about frost shields, heating with wood. The Garage to Solarium is totally a worth watch. That's a YouTube link to Willow's green permaculture. They still have their garage doors, but in that gap on the outside, they had custom built panels, wood and windows that open. So they can open their garage door and let the sun in the winter, and then close the garage door at night and trap the heat. Super cool. I can't wait to see how that turns out because that's really new for them. And then a Sunken greenhouse tour. That's linked in there. And then, of course, more Shawnee Grows, the Self-Sufficiency Garden, Seed-Saving Basics, Plants to Grow for Survival, the playlist. Now, here is one thing I wanted to say. What's this? That's not it. Videos I've been putting out. Have you seen the videos? Because sometimes we can't get together. So, how to find real food. 10-minute video talking about breaking big food. Saving seeds for the future, honoring our ancestors, bringing our garden to Thanksgiving. Those are all things we've talked about and have been released now. There are videos that have been filmed and scheduled to come out. And preview of that, teaching kids to garden. How does it look? My experience gardening with children. I talked for 23 minutes about this, so that's a future video coming out. I reviewed a book that was purchased thanks to our members and our super chats. It's about self-sufficiency, so I go through the book and what I think of it. 10 rules of gardening. Winter isn't the end of your garden. Finding your garden rhythm. Those are all coming up on the channel. Please subscribe so you can be notified. Watching all of the things that I were talking about, because I can't release a video every day. You know, Radio Jonesy says, after 5 hours of work, my house is empty, but looks much nicer. Progress is being had. Carol says, yes, I love the Dream Robin Gardens. I always wanted the Victorian style add-ons. Aldi does deliver, says Serena. What? So Aldi is new to me. It was a 30-minute drive, and now it's not. Composite decking boards are an option, but boy, are they spendy, Adam says. Yeah. Again, what's your budget? That was like checklist number 5 in the beginning. I don't know if Aldi delivers everywhere, right? Going back. Robin, new dream, new big dream. I want a conservatory attached to my house so I can walk right into it and pick a salad. Yes, okay? And, you know, I want my greenhouse to be able to heat itself in some fashion, but I really would love a wood stove too. Just, you know, to be cozy next to in my greenhouse with my plants. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be fun. Serena says Frugal Solutions has a video titled 35 Amish Vegetable Gardening Hats. Okay. Oh, the sawdust with glue. Oh, we can't talk about that. That's not. Boo. Going through. KP Heathen, are you here? Hello. I'm scrolling. Okay. If you've learned something new, share it with another gardener. The more of us restoring the ground beneath our feet, the cleaner our food and water become for everyone, okay? Now, I don't have the list in front of me, but members, I see you. I thank you for being the backbone of the channel. Your support helps us bring more education, more seeds, more books, more resources to gardeners like you. If you'd like to become a member too, check out the join button. It's 99 cents. I do have behind the scenes content on there, actually. I have why I have a channel on there, which is a good one if you want to know. I'm just loading something up over here. And, you know, when we get new members, we have story time. So, reading the chat. You still have bell peppers growing. Woohoo, KP Heathen. Nice. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for supporting me. What do we say? Thanks for gathering around. Keep creating, keep experimenting, and keep growing every day in every way.
Yeah, start it today. Little tips for beginners go a long, long way. Survival gardens, rise a companion, roots tight. Regenerated soil, keep the future in sight. Build soil in layers, let the microbes feed. Save seed for the kids, that's the garden's creed. Food webs dancing in the dark below. Eat from the land, let the good life grow. Eat what you eat what you grow. Learn as you grow, let the rhythm flow. Grow every day, eat what you grow. This is how we garden for a brighter day. What you eat what you grow. Learn as you grow, let the rhythm flow. Grow every day, eat what you grow. This is how we garden for a brighter day. This is how we garden for a brighter day. Food forests rise.
and grocery rolls too. Rain garden soaking up that sky blue. Pollinator patches keep the heartbeat strong. Edible landscape singing all season long. Plant what you eat what you grow. Let's learn as you grow, let the rhythm flow. Grow every day, eat what you grow. This is how we got for a brighter day. Plant what you eat what